Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Pressman, and that guy is Teddy. He's just a much better
Andy.
looking. No, you're
Andy.
Teddy.
You haven't read the Slack. You don't even know who your co-host is. Standard lack of preparation from Prez.
Exactly why you're Teddy. I mean, you might look like Andy. You might look like Andy, smell like Andy, taste like Andy, although I don't want to know about that. But yeah, arguing with me already, bro. How are you, man? Nice red shirt.
Thank you. Doing great. It's Masters week, so I've been glued to my computer screens, TV, all of that. Very exciting. Rain and thunderstorms are coming in this afternoon, but it's a great day in sports. This is a huge, huge weekend, so buckle up. We got a lot to get to, a lot of good actionable info on today's show.
Yeah, well, before we get into that, just for the record, golf's a game, and that's okay. It's not an insult that golf's a game, but it is not a sport. Well, Michael's joining us. He's got a chart on the baseball first innings. He's also got a bet for us in the NBA on the Brooklyn-Orlando game, and in baseball, the Cleveland Indians Guardians game. Never will I. It's like if my daughter changed names. I just don't know what I'd do. Anyway, Tokyo Brandon joining us. Brewers, Cardinals, and a baseball prop bet. And supposedly, according to him, no proof, he's on a 25-3 baseball run. Okay, there's lots of proof. You could literally go over to Wager Talk and pull it up. And Andrew McInnis, he's got a UFC bet for us, plus a futures bet in NHL. Andy Lang, the Masters, it was pretty gripping yesterday. I mean, you got a bunch of real top guys sitting at the top of the leaderboard right now. Have you found any bets going into today, tomorrow, now that round one is behind us?
Yeah, if you can find a prop on the Tiger Woods score, you want him to take over. He was not good yesterday. That yesterday was his day to do good. That was when he's going to be at his healthiest, and he's got a bummer of a tee time, which is this afternoon. It's going to rain, and traditionally over the last few years, his first round is his best, and he shot +2 yesterday. So he's going to have to play his second round in the rain either today. And if it gets delayed and he has to go out and finish his round 2 tomorrow, it's going to be even worse because it's going to be colder. There's going to be more wind. There's going to be even more rain. I saw the numbers at 73.5. You want to take Tiger Woods to shoot over 73.5. Right now, the conditions are perfect. Brooks Koepka's out there just throwing darts at the greens, but the afternoon guys are at a severe disadvantage. But tomorrow is going to be insanity because it's going to rain the entire day. You're going to fade Tiger Woods in round 2, though. That's the best bet.
There we go. Andy Lang, co-hosting Wager Talk today. Guys, I went 2-1 in my daily presidential address yesterday. I'm now on a 9-2 run, so make sure we get 100 likes if you want any plays for today. No NHL, but I'll give you some plays no matter what. Also, I'd like to apologize to all my clients who purchased my 5% play last night. It was the under in the Miami Heat game. I had won 5 of these 5% plays in a row. I lost it last night. Look, the best thing from my perspective was I was at a Passover Seder table. My phone was banned. I got up 3 times to check the score. I got yelled at twice. So I didn't have to suffer through that loss, but it upset me greatly, and I do apologize to everybody. But hey, we're kicking ass in NBA, guys. So, and I've spoken to Ralph and other people about this many times. When is the best time to buy a handicapper? When is the best time to bet his plays? The day after he loses his 5%. Ralph Michaels joining us. How are you, Ralph?
Andy, I was hoping that with you on the show, we wouldn't hear the negativism from Prez, but I'm glad to know at least he's consistent and it continues.
Okay, so I don't know what negativism is, and what was my negativism?
There's always something you have to get about Teddy, and by you calling him Teddy, that was a negative comment.
Yeah, well, listen, if I'm Andy, I'd take it negatively too. So that is a very fair statement. I mean, Andy is better looking, younger, dresses better. Better golf handicapper. Yeah, hangs out with Kyle Anthony more. I mean, yeah, we could list a lot of things. Anyway, Ralph, Teddy is under the weather today, and I wish him well. He's definitely feeling very negative of his. So yeah, you got a chart for us. Let's get right into it. I'm going to pay attention.
Well, guys, baseball first inning props have become very popular. Will there be a first inning run? Will there not? For those that don't know, it's very simple. Almost every book has, yes, there will be a first inning run in the game, or no, there were not. So you look at pitchers, you look at teams, but I started posting things for free every day on my Twitter. So if you go to @CalSportsLV, it will be updated. You will see the streaks and you will see the last 10 days. One thing I wanted to do a little bit different was this. You may bet a team that has yes for 5 or 6 straight games, but it may be because they played an opponent that scored. So if you see the chart, it is color-coded. The dark green means that team scored the first inning run. The light green means the opponent scored the first inning run. And the blue means both teams scored a first inning run. So again, looking at the top, the streak leaders going into tonight's games, the Atlanta Braves, 6 straight games have had a first inning run scored, but you see 5 of those 6 have actually been them. So their top of the lineup has been amazing. Seattle, 4 straight, and all 4 have been from Seattle. And St. Louis, 4 straight, but with St. Louis, the last 2 were with the opposition. So every day on Twitter, I'll be posting this in the morning for free, the WagerTalk first inning chart. Follow me @CalSportsLV.
Andy Lang, you have a follow-up on that? Putting you on the spot?
No, I don't. I love Ralph's charts, and I love that Ralph provides this for everybody to help them make their own decisions. And, a lot of times what we do is we try and help people out with their own bets. Obviously we give out free plays and we have our own client plays, but one of our jobs is to make the betting public better. And if everyone does better, we all work together. We all have bigger bankrolls. So I love the work that Ralph does. And there's not very many people that put that much time and effort into a chart that goes out to everybody. So Ralph, thank you for that. It's very, very much noted.
Yeah, I mean, well said, Andy. It's absolutely incredible the amount of work Ralph puts into this. And really, what you were saying is literally why people should be buying the Gold Sheet. Ralph, you want to talk to that?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was the first day of the new baseball Gold Sheet. I'll tell you what, we have an incredible staff. Yesterday was a lighter card, but if you head to Gold Sheet, I talked to James earlier today. He'll be posting a free sample on there. We'll be doing some free trial days as well. You could buy the baseball Gold Sheet 7 days for $15. It breaks down every game. Plus, there's a best bet and a prop best bet daily in that sheet. So keep note. We'll talk about it here next week, Prez. I'll get him to post a free play perhaps next week here on Friday where everyone can go and see the Gold Sheet for free. But it's a product you want to check out. If you follow Gold Sheet on Twitter, they did post a sample of yesterday's sheet. It's worth the couple minutes to take the time and go look at it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. Exclusive handicapper at WagerTalk.com. Ralph, let's get into some actionable info for today. We got Brooklyn playing Orlando. -7.5 is the number. Rotation number 510. I love that you put that in there. You've got a first half bet for us. What is it?
Well, I just want to mention, Prez, that I'm talking NBA today and I'm talking MLB. Both plays are actual client releases. I'll also be on First Pitch today. You can get my other baseball play for free as well. So I'm giving out my entire card for the viewers here on WagerTalk TV. Listen, we've seen teams rest starters, and we've seen teams in playoff need blow out foes. If you look at NBA favorites of 14 or more, 13.5 or more this season, they're at 63%. Brooklyn falls into that mode. They are still playing for seeding. The Magic out of the playoffs. They played the Cavs last night. They rested their entire starting lineup against the Cavs. And if I tell you they lost by 22, you may not think anything of it. But the Cavs also rested their entire starting lineup. So you now have Orlando playing a very short lineup with no rest against a Brooklyn team playing for seeding. And oh yeah, by the way, that Brooklyn team, their last 5 games, 46% defense, 43%, 44%, 48%, and 47%. The Magic allowed 53% last night at home to the rested and non-starting Cavs, 50% the game before. I'm going to play first half. In case Brooklyn gets up by 20 and starts shutting it down late, I'm going to lay the 7.5. And when those teams of 13.5 or more favorite this year, the average first half score for the winner has gone 64.4 to 52.1. Those teams have won by 12.3 points per game in the first 24 minutes. Magic also 2-5 with no rest down the stretch. First half game 5-10, Brooklyn -7.5. I did see some places popping up to 8. I'm okay with that number as well.
Andy, before your follow-up, I did mess up. The line is 10.5. It is 7.5 on the first half bet. And Bill McDonald wants more Allie. Bill, go get her, man. Go get her. Give it your all. Try it. I got you. Practice some lines, work it out, do stride jumps, burpees.
Bad advice.
Go get her.
Bad advice. You're on an 0-1 streak on 4% plays, advising how to go get Allie. Ralph, let me do a follow-up.
Fair enough. I don't have a clue. I'm just an old, decrepit man, bro.
Oh, please. You are not old. Okay, so my follow-up here, Ralph, is so we had kind of the element of surprise with the lineups last night in the Cleveland game. Orlando scores 42 points in the first quarter, and then they just fall apart. 15 points, 16 points, 21 points. Is there something to that? Like, does Brooklyn not know what to expect? Do they take a little bit of time to get used to this Orlando Magic team? 42 points in one quarter is a lot. Is it possible we see a hot start?
Well, one thing, Andy, if you're sitting in for Teddy, you have to say this. Ralph, does this concern you? And that's always the way you have to start with Teddy. So just so we know moving forward. I'm going to say no, Andy, because we talk about teams playing their starting 5, and we talk about offensive cohesiveness. But I think it's more when you play your starting 5, it's defensive cohesiveness. With the Cavs resting their entire bench, you have 5 guys that don't know how to play defense together. Against any team, I think you're going to have a good first quarter. The Nets will be playing their starters, and in the defensive presence they're in the last 5 games, I think they got half of that this time in the first quarter.
Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. And Andy, please pay attention to what your co-host says in the Slack channel directly to you. Thank you. Ralph, Andy, before we get into your next pick, baseball play for tonight, I want to address Trevor Kulpas. He's a listener, viewer. I want to get your thoughts on this. Hey, Prez and Andy, longtime follower and listener. I have a difficult question to ask. Why would any successful handicapper sell their picks? Now, this is not our first rodeo. We have heard this question 1,000 times. The first thing right off the bat is, why would a successful stockbroker sell, take other people's money? Why would they make a commission selling their stock advice? It's not dissimilar. The bottom line, Trevor, is first and foremost, money is money. No matter how much you have, you always want more. But more importantly, do you have any idea how hard it is to get yourself a bankroll when you enter the wonderful world of sports betting and build it up to the point where you can afford to go to Whistler for 28 straight days, then come back 2 weeks later, go to Vegas, then come back 3 weeks later, go on a Grateful Dead tour for 10 days, then come back 2 weeks after that, go back to Vegas. Wait, that's me. The bottom line is you have to start with a bankroll. And Andrew McInnis entered this world at 21, 22 years old. I was handicapping and selling plays at 29 years old. Andy is probably just about to turn 14. It's hard to get a bankroll to start with. So if you know you're doing something well and it's working out for you and you're doing all the work to begin with, why not sell your plays to the general public? And I know you mentioned, that the line that the lines will move against us. No. There's very few handicappers, if any, on the planet that has an army that can move lines. If you want to move a line, make $1 million bet, make a $500,000 bet. It just doesn't work that way. But Andy and Ralph, I want your take on this as well. Ralph, we'll start with you first.
Well, Prez, I think the last statement was the most important. Billy Walters used to be able to move lines. So is Billy Walters going to sell his plays? I don't know. There's talk now he is going to start selling some. So even that changes. But you cannot get enough down to move the lines. So you might as well share those plays and sell those picks. Now, yes, lines move. And lines move much differently now. You got to realize this. If I'm going to give college basketball an example. The Circa opens up their college basketball lines at noon. You can bet $500 and move a Circa line a half a point because they're the only place. Then they keep moving their lines based on those early bets, and then every other sports book moves up their lines. It used to be that no sports book moved their lines unless they took money. Now they're doing everything. They're watching the screens. They're looking at the lines. If they see a casino move a line, you see them light up across the board that they're all moving. That used to mean someone pounded money. Now it just means it's corporate structure where they're afraid to be at a risk or have a line that's unusual where they might get beat at. So it's just this. There's not enough money you can get down to change the market. So you might as well share your expertise in that with clients.
Yeah. And Andy, your turn. And then I want to address Frank Raposo's answer.
Well, yeah. So there's a way, there's a reason you can make money off of the same product. And if you can have a pick or, a 30-day pass or a year's worth of picks, me as personally, I can bet all my own plays and turn a profit. But I can also take that exact same product and on it by selling it to the public. So it's kind of basic business. You take one product. If it's a good enough product, you'll have an audience for it, and you can get different revenue streams off of the same product. I would say the second is, me personally, I love this. This is what gets me up in the morning. I love doing the write-ups, the research. I love doing the videos and the media. So, this is not something that I even look at as, a job. This is something that I would be doing anyways. I'm just lucky enough, to have a platform that I can do this. And then the other thing for me, I love introducing people to wagers, bets, and sports that they're not really aware of. A lot of people don't know how much money you can make in the world of women's college basketball or lacrosse or golf props or, some of these cross-sport parlays that we've made money on. I get excited about that. I get excited when I get messages of, oh man, thanks for cashing that darts play. Never knew you could do that. So for me personally, I love opening up people to new audiences. I love hearing the stories of when people say, hey, thank you. You increased my bankroll. I wasn't doing well in golf, but then I started following you. That is that is just well worth it to me. It warms my heart, and I enjoy it. It's multiple revenue streams. And by the way, 60%, Trevor brought up 60%.
Yeah, not
we would all be really happy with a 60% profit. I would say we're aiming for 57%. If you can make 57% on your bets across the year, you're going to be doing quite fine.
Andy, I did a chart a year ago that shows people how much money they could make if they hit 54%. Literally 55%, a $2,000 bankroll bet correctly over 5 years, 1,000 plays a day, $95 million. $95 million from $2,000 at 55%.
Did you say 1,000 plays a day, Prez, or 1,000 plays a year?
1,000 plays a year. My apologies.
Okay, no problem.
So listen, Andy, that was kumbaya. It was beautiful. You warmed my heart. I love how altruistic you are. You know, you do this because you love teaching people and helping people. I do this because Frank Raposo is right. There's a market of buyers, and I'll make no bones about it. Why should anyone begrudge me making a living? Like, why would I have to put myself in a situation where I'm at permanent risk every single night when I have people who will buy my information? And I know my information is going to win year after year after year. I'm confident in my information. I'm betting money on my own plays. So hell yeah, Frank. There's a market of buyers. Any market of buyers means that there's going to be a business that's built around it. We have built one around it. I take a lot of pride in what I do. Andy and Ralph and everybody else does. Tokyo Brandon doesn't. But other than that, I love what we do. With that said, I am coming up. Like, I can't handle losing. Like, I freaking can't handle losing. Ralph Michaels, next question, my brother. Cleveland Guardians, what do you got for us?
Well, it's been simple. I'm off to 11-2 baseball start, and it's better pitcher, better hitting team in a situation with line value. Guardians with their home opener, they started the first 6 on the road. And Cleveland is a team where when they have momentum, it really is contagious. The pitching staff is contagious. When Ramirez is hitting, it's contagious. They're 3-0 in extra inning games this year. That's the type of team you want to have with momentum. Yes, there may be some luck factor there, but yes, it's because of their bullpen. And the team is so accustomed to not hitting home runs and taking the extra base and stealing bases. So, you have Savelli in this game off a great performance, a shutout performance. He won 2-0 in Seattle. Savelli's 2-2, but he's got a 2.9 ERA with 25 strikeouts and 5 walks in 4 starts against Seattle. The Guardians, again, positive momentum. Seattle batting .222 against righties. We have a home opener, and we're only laying 125 in this situation. Better hitting team, better pitching team with current form, better fielding team, better bullpen. It's simple. This is an actual 3% play over at WagerTalk. The Guardians, I've used a lot of first fives this season, but with the bullpen of the Guardians, I'm happy to go full game in this situation.
Andy?
Are you just real quick? Are you worried about them seeing the pitcher for the second time? Maybe they learned a few things. I don't know if you have any stats or the charts about when batters see a pitcher fairly close. Just within a couple weeks of each other. Are you worried about that they've seen this pitcher before?
Well, it's both pitchers, Andy. It's both sides, because these two pitchers matched up in that game that was a 2-0 game. So, again, if I have a team hitting better, I think it's an advantage to the hitting team that's hitting better facing that pitcher. And, again, like I said, Savali, 5 starts, a 25-4 strikeout ratio, so he's proven. And this kid has blossomed. I mean, watching him come up as he did, watching him pitch in the spring, what he continues to learn from this incredible staff. The Indians have a bunch of homegrown young pitchers, and they keep talking about the new pitching coach they have and what he's brought in and changed things. So to me, it's just positive karma all the way around. And if you have better hitting, better pitching, better fielding, and you're only laying 125 in your home opener, it's one of those situations for me that, yes, that will be a play.
Ralph Michaels, we love having you on, Ralph. What do you got to promote, bro?
We're good. Like I said, you got two free plays today. My other baseball play, check out Wager Talk First Pitch. Gold Sheet, check that out. And the first inning guide free daily at Cal Sports LV on my Twitter.
Well, Michael's everyone. Andy, rather than doing what did we learn last night, unless you prepared one. I mean, listen, Teddy, you prepared one yet? No? Okay. So let's address what you just put in the chat room. It's amazing, Andy. Teddy's never visited the chat room once. You and I are actually communicating with each other live in the chat room. So you wrote, if you start with a $4,000 bankroll and you make 3% bets on your bankroll a week and don't take any money out in 6 years, you will have $26 million. That number feels right to me. Except I need more information. So please delve into that a little deeper. Explain the 3% of your bankroll. How often are you adjusting that bankroll? And what percentage do you need to hit to get to $26 million?
Okay, well, we actually did an 1.5-hour video on this. It is on YouTube called The Road to Millions. And what we do is we start with $4,000. And I actually did this. I started with $4,000 on February 1st. And I just said, I want to make 3%. You can do this with one bet. You can do this with 10 bets. You can do this with 20 bets. But your goal is to make 3%. So if you start off the week good
and you're doing.
You make. Yes. And we just leave the money in the bankroll. I think that's the biggest thing is don't touch it. Think of it as a stock portfolio. Think of it as a retirement, an IRA. You wouldn't pull your money out every week. So when you increase your bankroll, just leave it in there. And that's the power of the compound interest. If you start with $4,000 the first week, you're trying to make $120. The next week, if you make your 3%, you try and make 3% of 4,120. Just keep track of it over and over and over again. I started last year with $4,000 doing this 3% a week. We started on February 1st with $1,000, and we are ahead of schedule.
Wow, that's amazing, dude. A very different type of approach to the way I worked out my math, because I worked it out on what kind of win percentage you need. And so do you shut it down when you've hit your 3%?
Yeah. And this is one of the hardest things. So we pick a day of the week, and that's our start. So if we start on Monday, and I have a couple bets on Monday, and I make 3%, I don't need to bet for the rest of the week. I can if I think I have some really, really great edges.
So very similar to that crap strategy where after 4 rolls, you pull all your money.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience and it's hard, but I will tell you, I'll just be open. We started with $4,000 and right now we are at $32,000. That is just by making 3% a week, not pulling any money out. These are my
Johnny
plays.
Detroit, are you listening to this? Johnny Detroit, are you listening to this? Can we sell this information? Can Andy manage a group of people who want to buy in and we'll take our percentage like we always do? There is a business opportunity here. And it goes in keeping with what Frank said. Yes, I am always looking for a way to make money, which is why I bet Tokyo Brandon. So let's bring him in. Tokyo, how are you, my brother?
Thanks for having me on. Last 3 days plus 47% profit. So that's one way to make money. I've had 3 sweeps
That'll get it
in a
done
row,
too,
3 days
Prez.
in a row.
Yeah.
I've had
that's
3 days
that's
in
way
a row.
better than 3%. Let's do that. Let's do the 47% a week, Brandon.
3 days, 47%. So I've had 3 sweeps in a row. So 25-3 run.
Brandon, do you get this excited for sex? Like, I mean, your excitement level is at a 2. A 2. Come on, man! Give us the goods!
25-3 run. I'm not a pro wrestler. I'm not a pro wrestler kind of hype guy. I'm actually doing my numbers while you guys are talking about whatever. I don't know, Netflix or something. So, just doing my numbers for tonight and getting ready for some more profit. That's about it. Oh, and chatting with Andrew.
Brother. Well, thank God. Listen, if you were reading me something, I'd fall asleep. But given that you are literally a top 5, 10 better I've ever met in
can-
my life. I actually am interested in what you have to say. And
Yeah,
you
I
are
mean,
on a
it's all
25.
about-
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I didn't mean to interrupt you. No, it's.
I know
it's,
you
it's
love
not about
you love Kiss. You love Andy. Brandon loves Kiss. With his energy, this is Brandon at a Kiss concert.
Oh no, I went to my first Kiss concert when I was 7. So
yeah. Brewers
'Cause my
versus
dad liked
Cardinals,
Kiss.
Brandon. What do you? Oh, Brewers. Yeah. Wait, Rays
No.
versus A's. Rays versus A's.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Yes, sir.
go,
We
brother.
got Rays
Let's get
versus
into
A's.
it.
Yeah. So the Rays are 6-0, and they're not really known as a hitting team, but actually they're number 3 in hitting in RBIs, and they're actually number 3 in WOBA, which is weighted on base percentage. These are huge statistics for a team that is, going against the Yankees and going against the Red Sox. They haven't played the Yankees and Red Sox yet, but they're just a much better team than the A's. They have a better pitcher in Eflin on the mound today. And I'm all over the Rays -1.5. And normally you don't want to lay -1.5 with a home team, because if they're winning at the end of the game, they get only 8 innings of bats. So there's kind of a golden rule in baseball that you don't lay 1.5 on the home team, but I'm going to today because the talent level is just unbelievably huge discrepancy. So I'm all over the Rays -1.5 here in this game. You can play the money line, but they're -210. So some people, don't like laying 210. I don't mind laying 210 if I think there's value from 250 and above. So I wouldn't mind laying a money line play on this as well. What I often do in games like this is I'll put half on the money line and half on the run line. So it's more like a -1. So if they win by 1, I break even in my bet. So that's another way to play this. So I like the Rays, though. They're a great hitting team. Oakland, they're 4th from the bottom in both WOBA and in RBIs this season so far. So all over the Rays today. And my energy level's going up by talking.
Yeah,
to Prez.
baby.
I will be at the meet and greet August 19th. I'll be there again, so I can watch you play craps.
I'll be there. Roger Long writes, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, Peter, Chris, Tokyo Brandon, living legends. Andy, do you have a follow-up to that?
25-3 is pretty legendary. I've never been on a streak like this.
This was a tough one to try and find a follow-up to make a case for the other side, but I'm going to try it right here. All right, so the Athletics, they played their last 3 games against Cleveland. 2 games went to extra innings. They won the other one. Maybe are they getting a little bit of confidence? And also Tampa is number 1 in runs scored, but only 5th in batting average. Is there maybe a little regression on the horizon for them, or does that not concern you at all?
Very nice, Andy. I was a scout for a major league team for 10 years in my career, and one of the golden rules of being a scout is you always keep things simple and don't overthink it. And I'm not going to overthink this team because the A's are basically a single A level team. They've got 2 good players on their team that I would consider major league level in their lineup, where the Rays are just solid 1 through 9. Hard to find a hole. So I don't see, but in baseball, even the worst team can win 33 to 40% of their games. So there are a lot of upsets in baseball. I'd say baseball has more upsets than any sport except NHL. But not today. I don't think that's going to happen with a Waldachuk versus Eflin. I don't see that happening today.
There you go. Tokyo Brandon joining us. Michael Cotton wants to know if you're still a scout. No, he's not a scout anymore, right? You don't scout anymore.
I do not. No, I ended that in around 2009. So,
right. Well, I'll tell you guys flat out, and we say this all the time. There's probably, and I mean this sincerely, there's probably nobody that I've ever met that wins more consistently than Tokyo Brandon. It's been 4 years now that I've been able to watch him. And I mean, look, do I want you guys to buy my plays instead of Tokyo's? Of course I do. I want the money, but you're better off buying Tokyo's. Like if somebody asked me, and Brandon, I had this conversation with a friend of mine in Whistler. I know Andrew McInnis is like, wow, this is taking long. Too bad, Andrew. We're having fun. A friend of mine in Whistler was like, who do I, if I were to buy one handicapper and play one person's plays all year long, doesn't matter what sport, who would it be? And it's an absolute no-brainer. The answer is you. We are freaking lucky to have you at Wager Talk.
Thank you, sir.
Andy, no follow-ups because I got to get rid of Tokyo Brandon in a minute. You've got a Trey Turner prop for us. Let's go.
I certainly do. So Trey Turner tonight is facing Green for the Reds, and he's 4-6 lifetime against Green, 4-for-6 with 1 home run. I looked at his props for runs scored, and it was actually plus 110. So Trey Turner to score a run, plus 110. That's a great value considering he's going to hit leadoff. And he's got a really good lineup behind him. The Phillies are getting slighted by the bookmakers, but if you look at who they've played, the Rangers, who are really good this year. Actually, nobody expected the Rangers to be good, and they played the Yankees, so they're 1-6, but they've played really good competition. So expect the Phillies to bounce back and expect Trey Turner to get at least 1 run in this game. He's 4-for-6 against Green lifetime, so that's my prop play.
There you go, Tokyo Brandon. Dan, no commercial break. It's time. Oh, well, wait, bring him back. We forgot to promote. I got caught up. What do you got to promote?
Finger in my nose. Sorry. Today I've got a play out in Major League Baseball, and I haven't put my Asian plays out yet, but I'm about to put my Asian plays out as well, and those are going to be $9 each. Because they're non-American sports. So if you go to Tokyo Brandon's page at WagerTalk.com, you can ride my 25-3 streak. It's in Major League, Korean, and Japanese baseball.
Awesome stuff. There you go. Now get out of here. Dan, let's go to Andy's big game breakdown. Later, Brandon.
Well, when you want to do a big game breakdown, you try and pick a marquee matchup, a big game, a televised game. But since Teddy's not here, I'm going to go with the Pacers and the Pistons tonight. There's value in betting this game, so let's break this one down. Both teams are out of the playoffs, and both teams are really looking to improve their draft position, if we're being honest. But the other thing they're trying to do is they're wanting to take a look at some of these players they have to see if they have a future with the teams. I mean, James Wiseman is a classic example on Detroit. So the starting lineups tonight, Pacers are starting Nembhard, Mathurin, Nesmith, Nora, and Jackson. The Pistons are starting Hayes, Ivy, Wiseman, Bagley, and literally they don't know who they're starting at small forward because they're so injury riddled. If you don't know some of these guys, don't feel bad. Not a lot of people do know who these guys are. But I'm looking at the over here. The last 10 games, these two teams are the second and the third worst teams defensively. In those 10 games, the Pacers have given up an average of 127.9 points per game. The Pistons have given up an average total of 120.1 points per game. It's 247 points. And this total is sitting around 231. I just don't think there's going to be any defense in this game. This is two teams looking to get up and down. The Pacers have been playing with a high pace recently. And don't be surprised if there's a little bit of some unsaid agreements between some of these players. You give me a little space on the offensive end to get an open shot. I'll give you a little space on the other end to get an open shot. Let's pad our stats. We're trying to show off for our teams. I went the over in this one. There will be no defense. There's going to be a lot of shots, a lot of open shots. I will take the over on this one. And as a bonus client play for a prop, take a look at Killian Hayes over 2.5 turnovers. Since March 11th, when he was inserted into the starting lineup, he's gone over this number in 10 out of 13 games, including 3 straight. The Pacers, believe it or not, as bad as they've been defensively, they're turning the ball over on opposing guards. They forced 6 to the Knicks starting guards, 7 to the Cavs starting guards, 5 to OKC, and they turned Drew Holiday over 6 times when they played the Bucks. So I want the over in the Pacers and Pistons, and I also want my boy Killian Hayes to keep going on a streak of over turnovers. That is your big game breakdown.
Awesome stuff, Andy Lang. Man, Teddy who? Andrew McInnis. You've been sitting patiently, man. How are you, brother?
What's up, boys? I'm doing very well. No, I'm leaving late tonight, and my flight has already been delayed. So, great start.
Yeah. Well, my flight was delayed to Whistler by 12 hours or something. Do you know why it was delayed?
I'm going to guess weather.
No, you got to find out, Andy. There is a clause. I don't know what it is. Section 3, row 2, brackets 1. You might be able to get all your money back for that plane. It has to be there. There can only be. You have to find out the reason that it gets delayed. If it is not mechanical, which is, even though most of the time they just say it's mechanical, but there in Canada there is a law on the books. If your plane is delayed longer than it's like 2 hours, you get $100. 4 hours, you get a couple of $100. Like, I think if it's over 7 hours, you get your entire money back. So check into that, dude, and then take that money, put it into just hand it to fucking Andy Lang. Did I?
Yeah, just do what Andy's doing. Apparently, yeah, just do whatever he's doing. 3% a week. You know what's funny, Prez, is that I'm never usually that guy online that complains about stuff. But like right when I got the email, I complained, went on Twitter, tagged the airline. Turns out my buddy that I knew, like not really a good friend, but kind of like an acquaintance, that he moved to Alberta to work for an airline. That airline was the one that I was complaining about, and he was the one that delayed the flight. He literally was in charge of being the guy that delayed it. Nice. So he's like, hey man, that was me. Can you not? Nice. So he ended up like hooking me up a little bit with some free stuff, but that serves me right for complaining.
So, no disrespect, I just want to ask Andy a question. Andy, I want in, man. I want to send you some money. I want you to manage it at this 3% thing. I'm serious.
No problem. Let's start with Masvidal and Burns. Let's see if we can make 3% on Masvidal and Burns here, Andrew.
Is that a no?
Your segue was stunning.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to do the follow-up on Masvidal and Burns, and Prez is going to do the follow-up on your Penguins play. Andrew, buckle up. Talk to me about Masvidal and Burns.
Well, I got a feeling you're not going to like this play, and I know that Prez doesn't like my other play, so this is a great Friday to come on the show. Look, I mean, first of all, I know that Burns should be the favorite, Andy, in this one, but I think the price is a little bit disrespectful here for Masvidal. I mean, number one, I think a big thing to talk about is the takedown defense, right? So you've got Masvidal coming off fights against Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman. You know what both those guys are able to do. They're world-class wrestlers. They get you down to the ground. They ground and pound. They make your life a living hell. I think that Masvidal will be able to hold off Burns, keep this fight on the feet. And if he can do that, I think he has some of the strongest power and striking in the division. And I think that the thing is about Masvidal is he does all this trash talking. He only takes big fights. And I think that really his name and just kind of his fight reputation has been taken down a couple steps just based on who he's fought. Like, Andy, we talk about it all the time together backstage. How many people have inflated records because they just fight tomato cans, right? It's a huge thing in boxing as well. Masvidal is quite the opposite. He only takes fights that are big, massive, like sell out the arena type fights. And with that being said, I feel like that's kind of made him a big plus price here, plus 360, you know? So like I said, I'm not saying he deserves to be the favorite. I just think it should be a little bit closer. This is a value play for me. I have hit some of these big plus prices, whether it's been method of victory or underdogs. I have another big underdog on this UFC card as well. But this is one I think that the line is a little bit too out of hand here. And I think that Masvidal in 3 rounds, also that's a big thing too, Andy, with a 5-round fight versus a 3-round fight. I think the fact that it's 3 rounds, Masvidal doesn't have to worry about the gas tank. He can go, for lack of better words, balls to the wall for 3 straight rounds, use that power he has, and inflict damage on Burns.
Speaking of tomato cans, I'd like to take a look at Jorge Masvidal's recent wins. Nate Diaz, who gets knocked out. Ben Askren, who lasted all of 5 seconds and then put on a bunch of weight to do a showcase with Jake Paul. And then Darren Till, who no longer has ACLs. Other than that, he's lost to Covington, Usman, Stephen Thompson, Damian Maia. Does his wins over good opponents concern?
Damn, I thought Teddy was rough.
Yeah.
No, but
Wow.
no, look, I mean, like I said, I laid it out. I get it, Andy. I get it. But at the same time, I think that the fight against the easier opponents, it's factual, but I also think people are discrediting him a lot more based on the losses against really good opponents, right? Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, those guys are at the top of the weight class. And how he lost in those were pretty embarrassing fashion, right? He got ragged all around by pretty much both those guys, knocked out in one of them. And so I feel like that's part of the price here. Andy, I'm not saying that this guy should be the favorite here. I'm just saying I find value on the price.
Andrew McInnis joining us, everyone. I'm literally still working out how much money I'm sending Andy. So I don't even know what you said, but it sounded great. Well, me and you disagree vehemently. Dan, when do we need to end the show? Because I'd like to really delve into this topic with Andrew. No, you stay there, Andy.
Andy's leaving.
Dan?
I knew before the show started that there was going to be a different opinions on both of my plays. I know you don't like the Penguins.
I think we've lost our producer. Because he ain't talking to me. Let's get into it, Andrew. Pittsburgh Penguins, you think they're going to make the playoffs? The yes is plus 110, not minus 120 as you wrote, plus 110. There is zero value on that, but go ahead and explain to me why a team that can't win 2 games in a row in their last 13 games is all of a sudden going to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, look, Prez has his opinion, I have mine, but I mean, here's the thing. You're telling me there's no value on this. Well, you could take the Islanders to make the playoffs, Prez, at minus 360. I invite you to do it. You know what I mean? You could take a look at
they're not,
the Florida Panthers.
Andrew, they're not
the
all
Panthers
linked,
are minus
bro.
240.
They're
Go
not
ahead and
all
bet the
linked.
Panthers.
All because I don't find value on Pittsburgh doesn't mean I find value on the Islanders.
I know. I know, obviously. I'm just joking around. But
tell us why Pittsburgh will turn it around and actually win more than 1 game in a row.
Yeah, so last night, I mean, we finally saw Pittsburgh have a great defensive performance. You can tell that they were kind of more of a counterattack type team. They really protected their own end. Their defensive zone coverage was the best it's been in a long time. And I get it. It's 1 game. Prez is talking about the back-to-backs that they have faced and not winning 2 games in a row. Here's the deal. Sometimes at the start of the year, you look at the schedule and some teams have a really easy start to their season. And all of a sudden, their records are overly inflated. Some teams, however, they have a really good ending to their seasons. You hear guys talk about this every single NFL season. They're breaking it down. They've already have a play they've decided on in week 8, and it's week 1. Well, the Pittsburgh Penguins, to end off their season after a really impressive performance last night, they have a pretty good schedule here against the Red Wings, Blackhawks, and Blue Jackets. The Red Wings have checked out pretty much. They're really, really horrible defensively. We saw them play a pond hockey game yesterday against the Buffalo Sabres. That game was 4-4 in the middle of the second period. There's no defense going on there. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they're getting blown out every single night. They have broken their record, I guess, since 2009. They haven't played this many goaltenders in a year. They have now played 7 goaltenders in 1 season. Whether or not it's been injuries or it's just been how bad they've been performing, Columbus Blue Jackets are allowing goals to every team. And I don't think that they're going to have to worry about playing defense against Columbus because they can't score either. And of course, the Blackhawks. If there's a team in the league that I could say really is trying hard to get that number 1 overall pick, it's probably Chicago. And I think after they trade away a few guys at the deadline, they have had a couple upset victories. They did a few nights ago. But I think Pittsburgh, after a strong win against Minnesota yesterday, they have a good pathway, So I like Pittsburgh, but I like their pathway to get here. And I did pull up kind of the schedule here. For the Panthers, they have the Capitals, Maple Leafs, and Hurricanes. I think all 3 of those, I think at the very best, they go 1-2 in those games. I feel like the Maple Leafs take them down on Monday. The Maple Leafs, in my opinion, are not going to be a team that rests players. The last team in the world, I think, that needs to be resting players before a playoff series is the Leafs. They want to be in playoff mode right now. They don't want to wait till game 1 to get into playoff mode. So It's a battle right now between the Islanders, Panthers, and the Penguins. And for all the casual hockey fans out there, like I said, again, the current odds to make the playoffs are Panthers minus 240, Islanders minus 360, and Penguins minus 125. Only 2 of those teams will make the playoffs. So I'm giving out a play right now on the team with the best number here at minus 120 against those big favorites to slip in.
Yeah, and as I said, you can actually find that line at plus 110. And Andrew, I thought you did a monster job there, dude. I thought you explained it really, really well. I don't buy it, but it was very excellently done.
Thank you.
So let's Teddy you for a sec. So you talk about they finally put together, the Pittsburgh Penguins finally put together a great defensive effort. Well, the Pittsburgh Penguins beat Colorado 5-2. That's a pretty good defensive effort. The next game they lost. Then they played Nashville. Shut them out 2-0. Next game they lost. Then they played Philadelphia. Shut them down 4-2. Next game they lost. So, and inside of all of that, they lost to the very Detroit Red Wings not 5 games ago that they have to play. The bottom line is this team has been in absolute must-win mode for the last 2-3 weeks to a month, and they have won 4 out of their last 12 games. So I get what you're saying. They have an easy schedule, but I don't think Pittsburgh's much better than Detroit. I don't think Pittsburgh's much better than anybody. This team has shown nothing. When you are in must-win mode, when you have a veteran team with Crosby, Malkin, Letang, you have a veteran coach, you have to be able to win 2 games in a row over a 3-week period in a scenario where the playoffs are slipping away. But I do agree that they have the easiest schedule moving forward. I don't agree with you about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I do believe Florida will sweep. So Carolina's not playing anybody in that last game. The Maple Leafs aren't going to care. And Pittsburgh does not have destiny in their own hands.
One thing I saw pretty interesting, Prez, I thought was kind of cool. And you bring up those players like Letang and Crosby and stuff. You know, it's a team sport, but those guys aren't to blame. Like I'm somebody that you would think I know, but I was going to say like, you would think that I was a goaltender like in another life by how much I defend goalies. But I saw something that said if the Pittsburgh Penguins traded a goalie tandem with any other team in the Eastern Conference, they would have clinched the playoffs a week and a half ago. How crazy is that?
And if my grandmother had balls, she'd be my grandfather. What do you have to promote, Andrew?
I'm on a 4-0 best bet run in the UFC, and I have a 5% play going tomorrow, as well as several other plays. 2 underdog plays, including that one that I gave out here on the show. And as you guys know, if I split those underdog plays, we make money. So I'm looking forward to that. And NHL package 177. You can grab that, get the entire NHL. That includes series wagers, prop wagers, totals, and sides. And other than that, Prez, look forward to seeing you in a few days, man.
Oh, we're seeing each other?
Maybe.
Oh, shit. What do we got planned?
I don't know. Maybe on.
Okay, President, we got 60 seconds. Daily presidential address. Let's go. Guys, make sure to play my bets tonight. I got 3 MLB plays for my clients and 2 NBA totals. I'm on a 36-17 run in the NBA totals. I have 3 bets for you guys.